floor of the CME Group. This is Danny Riley with today's MrTopStep update. You know, the markets are quiet down here on the trading floor as we go into the end of the first quarter. And we're going to kind of give you a couple statistics that are going to get ringing around in MrTopStep's head about what's been going on down here in the S&P. The thing of what I'm going to talk about here is that from March 17th to March 25th, the S&P was down 5 out of 6 days for a total of 61 handle loss. And then from March 17th to March 25th, which was last Friday, the S&P has been up 6 out of the last 7 days for a total of 69.70 handles up. You know, and this has created a lot of trading that's gone on over here in the S&P, but really 2 or 3 weeks ago, we were seeing 3.5 million minis trade a day. And during the rally over the last week or week and a half, the total volume has been ranging around 1.6, 1.8 million a day at the top. Now, you know, we're going to flip over a little bit. We're going to talk about some of the mutual funds. Now, 2 weeks ago, there was about $2.3 billion in mutual fund money that came out. And over the last week, there was about $1 billion that came out. So we're still seeing kind of a negative outflow of money going in and out of mutual funds. But what we've seen here in the S&P is that there seems to be another base being built off that most recent low. Now, one of the things that, you know, as I was looking over things over the weekend was Lipper has actually come out saying that, you know, that on these declines that there's been a very aggressive buyers going on both in domestic and foreign funds. And that kind of tells us that, you know, maybe as long as the POMO is still going, that, you know, maybe the markets are going to continue to hold in here, irregardless of a lot of the global macro negatives that are going on. As we go into the end of the third quarter, you know, we've got this thing called T+3. That will start tomorrow. That's the quarter end. That's the 3-day settlement in which you can post and buy and sell stock before the quarter end. You know, and then we're going to be going into the end of the month, and then in the end of the month and the end of the quarter, and then into the new quarter and into the beginning of April. And statistically, what we see favorable trade winds going forward here. Now, that doesn't mean that the S&P can't sell off from here. You know, we've got a 1304 50-day moving average, and then we've got really big critical support down in the S&P down at the 1290 level. Now, really, we've got those old highs up at 1341, 1343, and we've got a huge line of stops that starts above like the 1318 level up to 1324, 1325, and then above 1328 up to 1335. So, you know what, we start getting above these levels over the next couple of days, you know, we think we're going to start to take out some of those buy stops. On the other side, you know what, it's very quiet down here. Volumes are very quiet. We've got the jobs number on Friday, which I think is going to be a key driver later in the week. But as far as what's going on here, the S&Ps are moving higher as we're speaking. We'll be back with another MrTopStep update.